outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
Hello everyone and welcome to Country with Celine. I am your host, Celine Shamarky, and on today's show, we welcome Devin Cooper.
It's gonna be a bona fide. It's gonna be an up all night. It's gonna be a redneck and two-step, and you can reckon we'll be getting gone with the moonshine. Don't need no highways, because we're parked out by the lake. Cause we're a blue-collar beer drinking, tailgating, hail-raising, certified country cliche.
Devin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to congratulate you right now because the 2022 Country Music Alberta Awards are literally right around the corner, and you were nominated for 3 of them. So how special is that for you?
It was pretty cool. I've never been on the final ballot before, to be up for the actual award. Been nominated lots, but never on the final ballot. So it's pretty cool to be up for Horizon Male Artist of the Year, Interactive Artist of the Year, and Community Spirit Award. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super exciting. And the awards, I swear, it's in March. They're at the end of March sometime. And I mean, this year already has been flying by pretty crazy. But that's going to be a fun experience. I mean, all of you artists can finally get together again, just like at the CMAOs and the CCMAs. And it's a nice experience to be back with everybody around you, right?
Absolutely. It's like a big family reunion, except for you like him.
Yeah. You know what else is a big family reunion? When you go to Nashville. That's a big family reunion. Literally everybody is Canadian down there, and it's so awesome.
I saw you were just there. How was your trip?
Oh, thank you for asking, Devin. It was honestly a complete blast. The last time I was there was in 2019 prior to COVID. And I mean, I went with my mom and my grandma. So like, it was just different this time because I got to go with like friends and I got to meet people. I got to experience that nightlife. And I'm sure you've definitely been down to Nashville. I'm not even going to ask that question. Yeah. Okay. So, you know, like Winners and Loser, Whiskey Jam, like, and I went to Red Door. Have you've heard? It was like a little gungy little like bar, but it's so fun. It's really fun.
You peeked through the hole in the floor?
Absolutely not. I'm sorry. You could not get me drunk enough to put my face down on that floor to look through the hole. And for people wondering, it's literally this hole at Red Door, like on the ground. And it's like, what's that word? Initiation kind of thing when you go there. But some people do it. I did not do it. I kind of just squatted down and kind of held my hair back and like looked in. But it's interesting. And the best part about Nashville too is everything closes at like 3 in the morning, like 4. Like, where do you find that here in Canada? Like I'm in Toronto and nothing closes that late. And you're in Calgary, correct? Alberta?
Yeah, Calgary.
What? Anything closes like that? I don't think so.
One place.
Really?
Called Singapore Sam's, and it's where every drunk person goes till 4 in the morning, and it's like a Chinese restaurant, and there's like a line up down the block. This place is insane, and there's like stacks of plates, and you can dance on the tables, and people smash plates and do all this crazy stuff night after night after night. But then you get your bill and you realize why you were able to do all that.
That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. I don't think I could. Wow. Okay. Interesting. I think Toronto should probably open up a place like that. I mean, that would be fun.
So if you're in Calgary, Singapore Sam's.
Well, people who are going there for for the awards, they're in Calgary this year. Yeah, there you go. So, I mean, head on over there. Get drunk one night with your friends and head on over to Singapore Sam's. Okay.
If it's still around, I don't even know if it's still around after COVID, but I assume it would be.
Good point. Honestly, that's like a whole other topic. So many places have shut down because of that. So many good places too, which is pretty sad. But I mean, hopefully new places will arise from this whole pandemic and we'll have even better places to go to when we're drunk out of our minds at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, no kidding. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Okay, so let's talk more about you. So you were less than a month out from your debut album release, Good Things. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. It might not show on my face, but I'm like, I'm over the
Come
top.
on, let's scream, scream, Devin. Come on, act excited.
No, I'm beyond excited. It's really cool to finally have a body of work out rather than just a single and acoustic video and single. It's those are fun to kind of give people a little taste of what you're about, but it's really cool to be able to package it and even all the branding that goes behind the design of the album and the CD and everything like that, just to be able to tie it all together to create this cohesive package of who Devin Cooper is, kind of thing.
Well, I'm excited for the official release, and I'm sure everybody is also excited. So now let's just talk about the story behind this album. So how did this album come to life? Was it songs that you've had written years prior and you felt like releasing them now, or was it something that kind of all happened all at once?
A lot of them came together around the same time. There was a couple month period at the start of 2020 between like January and the end of February, where I was writing a ton. I'd spent 2 weeks down in Nashville, kind of before the whole world shut down, and we wrote two of the four songs down there. Uh, one of the songs was written in January in Calgary, and then one of the songs was like 2.5 years old. Had been played out 100 times or 200 times for everybody to hear, and it was kind of just a show favorite. So we figured we had to put that one on.
What's your favorite song so far on this album? If you can pick.
Uh,
I know that's a hard question, but I'm going to ask it anyways.
can I have two answers?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll take it.
Okay, production wise, I will say "Want Me" is my favorite song, which has not been released yet. No one's heard that one. And the production on it is kind of pays tribute to some of my like hard rock hair metal roots. It's really heavy. There's like screaming guitars and some crazy drums on it. So it's definitely like a push in terms of the country music genre. But then we bring it back down in the verses with a banjo and just a voice. So it and then we go real big in the chorus and stuff. So that one's my favorite in terms of production, just because it hits so hard.
Mhm.
Um, Lyrically, I think I'd probably have to go with Back Pocket. It's just like it's not like it's an unbelievably clever hook or it's uh, necessarily some ground breaking thing that we're saying, but it's just like a really good story that just like I was told the other day that it reminded someone of a Chris Stapleton tune because it's like it's not some unbelievable like wild hook plot twist thing. It's just like a good story that just like hits you right. And I was like, oh, well, if someone's comparing it to a Stapleton tune, I'm like life complete. I'm done.
You know what? That's actually really funny that you said that because I was taking a listen to that song in the songs that are going to be on your album, and I thought of Chris Stapleton too. And no, I swear, like that's so strange that you said that. So I mean, clearly you're doing something
I'll
like
take it.
Chris
I'll
Stapleton.
take it.
Yeah, of course.
If I
Um,
can be like 1/10 of Stapleton, I'm like I'm good.
on he's a lyrical genius and he's just so freaking talented.
Yeah.
But now, so the songs that you have released, so you released Back Pocket and Country Cliche and Good Things. Now I want to know, how do you know these are the songs that you want to release prior to releasing the album? Like, I mean, there was other songs on that album as well that you could have dropped as singles, but you chose these ones, so why was that?
I think these ones kind of give an insight as to all of the songs on the record give an insight as to who Devin Cooper is, who I am, and kind of my life experience and everything I've lived in this short time of like good things talks about good things in life take time. You got to work hard. You can't give up.
Mhm.
Country cliche. I learned how to party pretty well when I was younger. And Want Me is about a one-sided horrible relationship, and I've been through lots of those, and I'm sure everybody else has as well. And Back Pocket just kind of ties it all together with if you have that right person by your side or that right team with you or whatever it is, you're kind of able to get through anything.
I love the answers. I love the answers, Devin. And now you also, this is going to go a little bit more personal right now, but I did notice that you posted something yesterday about you and your dad.
Hmm.
And I got to read it. I saw it on your Instagram. Now, for folks who haven't seen it, can you just share this story for people to listen because I thought it was quite beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, the story that I shared on my post, the actual one of like,
Yes, the one that you posted with you and your dad, and you were talking about the liver and all that kind of stuff.
so in I'll try and make a long story a little bit shorter. In 2019, I found out my dad had liver cancer, and at that point, I didn't really know if being a donor was a possible thing. I know that people like give their kidneys and lungs and other organs and stuff like that up for donation, but I didn't know if a liver was something that you could do that with. So I instantly started Googling it and trying to figure out what I could do, and found out that there was a small chance I could potentially be a donor. So I kind of, at that moment, started prepping myself because I didn't know what was going to be involved. So I just like quit drinking, whatever, like just started trying to eat super healthy because I didn't know what was involved or what I had to do. Fast forward over a year, it took over a year for my dad to be able to get onto the transplant list to be a potential candidate to get a transplant, even from anybody, not even myself yet. And I have to go through a whole bunch of like preliminary testing and blood tests and MRIs to find out if basically the anatomy of my liver is the same as my dad's to make sure that it will work as a replacement, basically. So I was in Nashville actually writing the song Good Things with Ali and Manning at the time, and I got a phone call from the Edmonton hospital that there was an opening that I could potentially come back and get my mock up and MRI and blood test earlier if I wanted to, because I was supposed to get it at the end of February, and this was going to be at the start of February then. And so I asked them, is there any chance if I come back earlier that we will potentially be able to get in for a transplant sooner if I'm even a candidate, because we don't even know at this point.
Mhm.
And they said, nope, not a chance at all. It'll be minimum of 6 months before you can even look at potentially getting a date for the operation. And I was like, so you're telling me there's no chance at all? And I was just like super adamant, like I want to know, like, is there any chance that coming back now will make a difference? And the lady on the phone was like, well, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but next Monday there was a cancellation in the operating room. And so if you are a candidate, there's a potential chance that you would be able to get in next Monday. But there's so many unknown variables at this point. She's like, I can't even realistically tell you that and have even a 5% chance of making sure that that would actually happen. So I went back into the room, finished writing the song, got another right, changed my flight, flew back, um, did the testing on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of that week. At the end of the day on Thursday, found out that I was an eligible candidate and that I would be able to donate my liver to my dad. And fast forward 4 days, we were
Wow.
in Edmonton, and the transplant happened. So it was pretty wild that it all came together and happened that fast.
That's an amazing story, honestly. And I mean, like, it's so sad when you really think about when people are put in this type of situation, like cancer, for example, and they need some sort of transplant. It takes so long, like it really does. And I mean, that's so sad because realistically, anything can happen. And I mean, we all know that you're not guaranteed tomorrow. So when you're put in that type of predicament, you want everything to happen like as soon as possible. And I mean, it's your dad. I would be like freaking out just like you. And I mean, thank God it did all work out. And thank God it was a successful
Mhm.
transplant. And your dad is healthy. That's all that matters right now. And you're healthy as well. So that's a beautiful story, Devin. And I really appreciate you sharing that and elaborating more on this time rather than just your post.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. I'm always happy to share.
Anytime. I love hearing personal stories like that, especially when they're feel good stories, because we need more feel good stories in this day and age. I mean, when you turn on the
Absolutely.
news, it's so negative nowadays.
Yeah,
So it's
horrible.
nice to hear, right?
Yeah. Well, thanks.
And now, Devin, let's get to know a little bit more about you. So, where were you born? Let's talk about your childhood.
I was born in, well, I grew up in the small town of Innisfil, Alberta. I was born just down the road in another small town called Olds, which is where my mom worked. But I grew up in Innisfil, small town of about 7,000 people and declining. And that's where I lived till I was about 17. And then that's when I moved to Calgary for the first time.
You know, when did you know you wanted to pursue a career in music? Was it something you knew when you were young, you were singing around the house, or was it something that you kind of decided after high school or after college?
Well, I started begging my parents for a guitar when I was 5 years old, and they were like, "You're five. In 2 weeks, you're gonna want to do something new." They're like, "If you want a guitar that bad, save up your money from your report cards and your allowances." And they're like, "You can buy your own guitar then. If you really want one that bad, you'll save up your money." So for 2 years, I saved up all my report card and allowance and all this stuff until I had enough money to buy one. And then I came out Christmas morning when I was 7 years old, and there was a guitar sitting there for me. And but it was on the condition that I had to use my first or had to pay for my first 6 months lessons with all the money I'd saved up.
Okay.
So I paid for my first 6 months lessons, and the rest was pretty much history from there. I played in a few bands in high school, and then kind of started doing my own solo thing, playing acoustic shows when I was about 16. And then I came home from college after I'd finished college when I was 19, and told my dad. I was like, "Hey, Dad, I just want you to know I'm not gonna go get a job." And he's like, "Oh, what are you gonna do then? I'd like to hear this plan if you're just not gonna go get a job." And I was like, "Oh, I want to pursue music full time." Like, I went to college, put myself through college, and that was just something that I wanted to do. It wasn't like my parents forced me to go through college or anything like that. And so then I worked for about a year after getting out of college till I had enough gigs kind of coming in that I was able to go full time, and quit my job in September of 2018, I believe it was, and moved back to Calgary and have been full time since then.
I feel like a lot of people don't realize that in order to be a musician and an artist, it really is a full-time job. I mean, like, yes, you can have part-time jobs on the side, but if you really want to pursue this career, you need to just gun it and go for it. And that's exactly what you did, because that's the type of lifestyle changes that you have to make when you want to pursue this type of career.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
It's
plus,
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say college is not for everyone either. So I mean, like, there's
Yeah,
that too.
that's true. But I remember like when I first was full time, like trying to get enough gigs, and I had a busking gig actually at the Calgary airport. And I remember literally like rolling nickels and dimes on my living room floor. I lived in a house of a few other musicians, and I remember like rolling nickels and dimes on my living room floor, taking them into the bank, and would deposit like $1,000 in dimes at a time. And that's like how I paid my rent and everything like that. So
That is a lot of quarters and dimes and coins. That is a lot of coins.
odd.
And now musical influences. So you were just saying earlier that there's going to be a song on this album that is clearly not going to be like country. It has a bit of rock and metal, and you were saying that. So who were your influences? Were they half and half, like country, and then you got like hard rock and metal?
Well, I grew up. My mom was like a big '80s hair metal and hard rock fan,
Oh my gosh.
and
Okay.
then my dad was like a Southern rock and blues fan. And so there was actually no country in my house when I was growing up. But I think the thing about being in a small town and like you're always going to rodeos, you're always going out and having parties at barns or people's farms, and like you're surrounded by country activities, country atmosphere. Like everything you do turns into a story, which is the storytelling aspect of country music. And so I think I was probably writing country music before I even knew it, but my original influences weren't necessarily in country.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, you really had two different like spectrums right there, and you kind of just slotted yourself in the middle. I would say that's country's like sort of in the middle, and you're getting lots of influence too from them as well in your music, because I can even hear that your songs are not pop country. Like, I wouldn't classify you as pop country.
No,
I would, yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Pardon?
Nothing wrong with pop country, but I'm glad that you wouldn't classify it as.
No, I would not. Yeah, no, nothing's wrong with pop. I mean, pop
No,
country is cool. And the great thing is about country music nowadays, I say this all the time because it's so true. You have like country rock, country pop, and there's like the traditional country, then there's country rap. I mean, country is becoming so diverse nowadays, and that's awesome because
absolutely.
it needs to kind of change, because we all know that country music back in the days, if you listen to it now, lots of people aren't crazy over the type of country music that was the traditional country music.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's nice to have a spin on it nowadays, and lots of people can get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at the end of the day, it's like all country music comes back to the song. And you could still take any of those songs and put them with an acoustic guitar and they'll stand alone on themselves. And that's kind of the cool thing about country music.
No, accurate point. Accurate point there. And now dream collaboration, who would it be?
Dream collaboration. Probably, well, Staples. Can I pick three? I'm
Yeah,
the worst.
okay.
I
You're
give three answers for everything.
fair enough. Okay, who are they?
Okay, it would be the Cadillac Three, Kip Moore,
Oh,
or Stapleton.
okay. Solid picks. Solid picks. Kit Moore. I wasn't expecting that, but I like it.
He's my number one.
Yeah? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, he's good. And he's a good looking dude too. I shall say that as well.
I think all the girls are a big fan of him.
I'm pretty sure. And now before we play a fun little game, I want to ask you one more personal question because I want to know what it is. So, a goal of yours, what is something that you want to accomplish so much? An ultimate goal.
An ultimate goal.
An ultimate, if you can, I mean, you probably have like 3, 4, 5, a lot, but
Yeah.
what's one that stands out the most?
Can it be like a pretty like overarching goal? Or
Yeah,
something
anything,
very specific?
anything.
Okay. I would say a consistent, steady, and long-lasting career in music that allows me to have time to spend with family as well as get to play as many shows as I want.
I feel like that would be a goal for many musicians. So I like that answer, Devin.
It gets too broad.
It's a good answer though. It's a good answer. Okay, so now for the fun part. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
So we're going to test your Canadian knowledge.
Oh boy.
This is going to be fun. Last time I tested an American's knowledge on America, and now we're testing a Canadian on Canada. Okay, so the first one. What is the population of Canada?
37 million.
You know what? Pretty freaking close. It was 38, but yes, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Okay.
What was the year Canada was founded?
1867.
Yes, and it is on, what's the date?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm going to say June 1st.
June 1st? When's Canada Day?
Oh, July 1st.
There we go. That's a better answer.
I'm a horrible Canadian.
I thought for sure you were going to say July 1st and forget the year. Okay, next one. What is Canada known for? If you can think of one thing or two things, just give it to me and I'll say if they're correct or not.
Saying sorry.
Pardon?
Saying sorry.
Okay, fair enough. Politeness, yes. Okay, what's something else?
Maple syrup.
Yes, yes. You got it. What are two Canadian symbols?
Maple leaf
Yeah.
and Tim Hortons logo.
You know, I don't think so, but it should be a symbol at this point. It should be. And what's the nickname of Canada?
Uh, the Great White North.
Yes, you got it. You got it. And last one, because you're in Alberta, might as well ask this question. Edmonton Oilers or Calgary Flames? We're going to pick Calgary or the Edmonton Oilers.
I live in Calgary. I'm
So
not a real big fan of Edmonton, but I would pick Edmonton Oilers over Calgary unless I was at a Calgary game then because I'm not a big hockey fan. So I would if I was at a Flames game, I'd be like, "Oh, I hope the Flames win because I'm in Calgary." But if it was Flames versus Oilers, I would pick Oilers.
okay, that's fair enough. I mean, that's a very controversial question to ask
Yeah.
anybody who lives in Alberta. So I had to throw that out there.
I'm gonna be kicked out of Calgary for saying that.
Probably. I mean, if this gets out, which it will, you probably will be kicked out. Well, thank you so much, Devin, for chatting with me on Country with Celine. It was so awesome getting to know you and talk to you some more. And I love that you shared that personal story about you and your dad. That was quite beautiful. And we're all excited to hear when the album comes out on the release on March 25th of 2022, which is closer than we think.
Getting there very close. Thanks so much for having me on, Celine.
'Cause you know what to say about good things. They take a little longer than you might think. So if you're thinking about taking a shortcut, relying on some good luck, let me put your mind at ease, 'cause you know what to say about good things.